Schwarzenegger, and he's, I don't know how many titles he holds. He's very interested in Habilitat. He's very interested in helping us to enhance our physical education program. And I'm anxious to share some of his for him to share some of his expertise with us in terms of the betterment of what we've already started here in Habilitat. So I'd like to introduce you to Arnold. The Habilitat welcome, folks. Boom, da, 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 boom, boom, boom. Hey, boom, da, 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 boom, boom, boom. Hey, boom, da, 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 boom, boom, boom. Hey, hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Boom, da, da, da is a hip hooray. A boom, da, da, da is a hip hooray. A boom, da, da, da is a hip hooray. That's the song of Habilitat. Hey, for every little brother and sister come in. A boom, da, da, da is a just for him. For every little brother and sister come in. That's the song of Habilitat. Hey! Hey!
Thank you. Wait, don't hang all those around. I don't know if you all know what got me here in the first place, but basically my girlfriend, Maria Shriver, was here last week, or was a week and a half ago or so, doing a story on this place for CBS Morning News. She found it very interesting when she read about this place in the magazines, in the newspaper over on the mainland, and so she thought she should cover it for CBS. And then when she came back, she was very, very enthusiastic about the work that is being done and about the energy that was here and how much people improve here, the exercise programs that people follow, the diets, the nutrition, and the willpower that was actually behind it in improving yourself. So she found it very fascinating, and so she said to me that, as a matter of fact, she didn't say it, she told me that I must go and come over here when I go to Hawaii, which I do on an annual basis for the Mr. Hawaiian Island competition. I've been coming to Hawaii for many, many years, and it's one of my favorite places in the world to come to. So she thought that I should come here while I promote the Mr. Hawaiian Island competition, and also my movie, Conan the Destroyer, is opening next week in the theaters here in the islands. And I'm here to promote that, so at the same time, I felt I should come over here, although my schedule is very tight enough to be out of here by 4 o'clock, but I thought at least a few minutes I can spend with you and talk to you, and also answer some questions, and look quickly at your fitness program that you have. So Vicky is going to take you through some kind of a exercise program that you've been doing regularly, and then I will check it out, and then we'll comment on it, what I think of it, and also we'll make certain changes right as we go along. To me, doing work like that, or coming to a place like this, is nothing new, because I have done this kind of work, seminars, first of all, for the last 15 years, seminars for executives, seminars for the military, seminars for the police force, for the Navy, Army, for all different walks of life, and also for various different prisons. I've started a prison program in California, St. Quentin, Folsom, and all those, Tuscaloosa, Susanville, and all those different prisons. And I spend around an average of 2 days a month to do one of those kind of charitable works. Also, I became the national chairman and coach for weight training for the Special Olympians and so on. And I love to spread the idea of fitness and weight training as a means to fitness, and the cardiovascular training into all different walks of life. Because to me, health and fitness is something that is for everybody, regardless if you're a man or if you're a woman, if you're a child or if you're an older person. Everybody has the right to be fit. Now obviously there are some people that grow up and naturally become strong mentally, strong physically, They have a tremendous willpower. You know exactly where they're going. I was one of those very fortunate ones. Because of upbringing and because of my childhood, I had a very good direction of where I wanted to go. So I knew with the age of 10, I wanted to be a world champion in some sport. With the age of 15, I knew it was weight training, weightlifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding, and those kind of sports. That's where I had the potential. Other people are not as fortunate. They don't have the direction when they're young. They don't have the discipline. They don't grow up with discipline. And it is always the responsibility of the strong to pull along the weak. And this is why I do this kind of activities, to spread the idea, the good news of fitness and the good news of feeling good, because that's the bottom line, that we all have a great balance between mind and body. That's the bottom line of everything. We have to train our mind, which is the discipline, the courage, the visualization of the goal, the positive thinking, all of those things is the mind. And the body, of course, follows then through by exercising, being healthy, eating good foods, and so on. So I have, like I said, a very fortunate career because I have accomplished all my goals, and I just want to share quickly with you what it was with me, what helped me the most accomplishing those goals. One of the most important things that I had going for myself was a visualization, having a goal, knowing exactly where I want to go, by saying, I want to be the world champion in bodybuilding, and then all I had to do is map out a program that will get me there as fast as possible. A program that will make me eliminate all the competitors immediately and go on to the next higher competition, then eliminate the competitors in the world, in the European Championships, and then move on to the World Championships. But it was basically very laid out, very organized, with a lot of faith. And faith is the important thing. You have to have faith in yourself and faith in your goal. You have to pick a goal and say, I can do it, I'm strong enough to do it, and then you go after it, whatever it may be. I mean, believe me, when I told my parents when I was 15 that I want to be a world champion bodybuilder, they thought that I was sick in my mind. Because in Austria, nobody wants to become a world champion bodybuilder. They want to become a world champion skier or a soccer player, but nobody wants to be a bodybuilder, especially in my days. So although it sounded ridiculous and they laughed at me and they thought they should take me to a psychiatrist, that there was something wrong or I was a little bit off balance, I didn't care about that because I felt that I knew strongly enough what I wanted to do. And I think that's the key to everything in life. I've approached life like that. If it was acting, if it was the business world and all those things, you have to have a goal and you have to go after the goal, because only then it becomes easy. Life becomes easy then, and you have a purpose for living and always being hungry for your goals and all those things. And whatever you approach, you have to be hungry for it. It has to mean a lot. You have to be willing to go through sacrifices. It's not easy, of course, for you guys to come in here and you're supposed to improve from one day to the next, from 1 week to the next, you know, and eventually come out of here as being perfect and all that. What would help you the most is to do exactly the same thing, to pick little goals and to shoot for that. To shoot for physical goals in an exercise field when you do sports. To shoot for little goals in your work schedule. To shoot for little goals or for major goals and say, this is what I want to do when I get out of here. This is what I want to do in a year from now or 2 years from now. And then you have to stick with the whole thing. Does it all make sense to you guys? You know, does anybody have any questions about things that I've talked about up until now? And please don't be shy. I know how it is. Everybody says, well, I don't want to be the first one to raise my hand. Because maybe it's a stupid question and everybody laughs at me. But there's no such thing. I think that we should just chat back and forth. Yeah?
Okay, what are, the advantages and disadvantages of lifting weights? Okay, a photograph instructions, lift only weights as opposed to, let's say, a gymnast or a dancer that works on more exercises, a lot of lifting, those types of things.
Well, first of all, weight training is the only way that you can train the total body. There is no other form of exercise where you can say to yourself, okay, my weak point is calves. I have problems with my calves. That's why when I play basketball, I can jump as well. I have weak calves. I have weak Achilles tendon. I want to improve the calves. You can do it with weight training. There's a machine for it, or you use weights on top of your shoulders, and you can go and do calf raises and strengthen your calf. Or, for instance, you're a tennis player. You want to improve the strength of your wrist. where there is no other exercise than having a barbell in your hand and doing wrist curls. Or you have, for instance, an injury on your shoulder and you want to rebuild the shoulder. Only through weight resistance training you will be able to rebuild the shoulder muscle and bring it up to the standard of the other side, to its strength. So this is why we use weight training for various different reasons. Athletes are using it. We're using it for various different rehabilitation, physical rehabilitation. After operations, we use it. Women use it for toning down and losing body fat. Men use it to get stronger. So there are thousands of different reasons that we have for weight training. What it does also mentally, which is the great advantage, is it makes you get disciplined. Because indirectly from weight training, you learn that every time you do one more repetition, every time you put on more weight on the barbell or on the dumbbell or on a machine, you will improve and you will grow and you get stronger and you get in better shape. So subconsciously you start translating more effort into progress and success. So you then relate this into other areas. The more effort you put into something, the more hard you approach the whole thing, the more you will get out of it. So there's a psychological effect also that you get disciplined and you know how to apply the same principle for other things. Okay? Yes?
Now that you're number one, what motivates you?
Well, as soon as you're number one, this is why I believe in this whole philosophy of staying hungry. When I was number one in bodybuilding, my next big goal was to win more world championship titles as anybody else. So that was my next goal. So when I won that, when I won 13 world championship titles, I immediately took this whole career aside and said, I want to begin at the beginning again. I want to start all over. So I took bodybuilding competition away and I started with acting. In acting, I had to start on the bottom again. I had to ask Jeff Bridges and Sally Fields and people like that, you know, what do they mean by take two? What do they mean by close up? Well, you know, I didn't know anything. I started from the beginning. So it was again a struggle all over again. Like being 15 with bodybuilding, with acting was the same thing. Start on the very bottom and being rejected and going through all the various different rejections. You know, when I came in the first time to an agent and said, I want to get a job, can you represent me? He would say, Arnold, you have a weird name, you have a weird body, and you have a weird accent, you will never make it. Okay, so this is the kind of rejection I went through in the beginning. And then you fight through that. But because of weight training and because of bodybuilding and having kind of struggled through that, I was used to struggling. I had a strong character. I was used to fighting against resistance. Because all you do in weight training is always fighting resistance. And so in real life, then, you learn how to fight resistance. And so when they told me I would never make it, there was resistance that I faced, but I was used to that and I forced through it. And now the agent is still making his little salary, and I'm making great money, and I'm making playing in starring roles and stuff like that. So you know who came out ahead. So you know, as time goes on, and I win this battle, which will take a while to do, because I'm still not on the top in acting. But if I am, then I maybe go on and go to producing. But whenever you've achieved the goal, immediately, you know, be satisfied with it for a little bit, but move on and pick another one. Because the excitement is to move towards the goal, and to drive towards the goal, and to fight for it. Because that's what makes you strong as a person. Yes?
Your first movie, Stay Hungry, was about bodybuilding. Are you going to make any other films about bodybuilding, or do you plan to like them?
Well, we did Pumping Iron, which was a bodybuilding, and of course, it was not a typical bodybuilding movie, Stay Hungry, but it had a theme of bodybuilding. But you know, I pick my roles according to who is directing it and what company is doing it, how much money does the company have for promoting the picture when it comes out, and so on. So you make different decisions, not is bodybuilding in there or not. But the Conan role, of course, is a very physical role, and you know, the body is very displayed there, especially in the last one, Conan the Destroyer. I had to get back into competition shape for this film. The director wanted me to be in top shape, so I gained up to 230 pounds for this film. Yes?
Yeah, you talked about exercise, whether it be sports, weightlifting. What do you feel about athletes, right, whether college or professional athletes doing aerobics?
I think aerobics is the best idea that ever happened to the athletic scene, period. I found out when we had, what the problem is that a lot of people always take and improve their body in just one direction. The long distance runner goes out and runs and runs and runs. What he gets is more endurance, but his muscle cells and his whole body collapses. Okay, so that's no good. Then somebody else maybe does stretching and yoga, so he gets very flexible, but he doesn't work on endurance or on his muscular structure. So I mean, everyone has to combine several things. You have to be flexible, you have to have endurance and speed, and you have to have strength. So the cardiovascular training, which is the aerobics, is for getting endurance. It gives you the ultimate of endurance. It's not just like running, but you're using your hands, you're using your whole total body going through those exercises. Now then with the weight training, you get the strength of the body. And then you should do some stretching exercises, warm-ups and warm-downs and stretching, which gives you the flexibility. And with that together, I think you get in the perfectly developed body that is ready for any kind of sport then. Okay, but the aerobics is very important. As a matter of fact, when Vicky told me that she is leading you guys through aerobic classes here, I was very encouraged by that. I thought that was the greatest idea because in most places I go, I just recently was on a ship in Norfolk, Virginia, and I took those guys through an aerobics class, the sailors on that ship in the Navy, and after 3-4 minutes they were huffing and puffing. And I said to myself, oh my God, these are the people that protect our country. So you can see how important the aerobics are. And now most of those military places are doing aerobics. So aerobics is a very, very good thing to do. It really gets you going, the whole body, it makes you sweat, it makes you heart pump hard and all those kind of things. It's great, yes.
Are you sincerely interested in anything else other than lifting and acting?
Oh, I have a lot of interest. I mean, my interest goes so. There's so many things that I never have time to sit down, but you just have to be disciplined with those things. When you do acting and when you're on location, then you try to zero in just on that. What you learn also from sports and from exercising is tunnel vision, where you just see only one thing in front of you, and that is the particular thing, a film or whatever goal you may have. And then you go for that, and then when that is finished, then you can do all the other things, if it is reading or skiing or water sports or sightseeing or motorcycle riding, whatever your hobbies may be.
Well, now that you've accomplished the acting part, do you have anything else in mind?
No, like I mentioned before, this gentleman here, that I feel I'm far away from having accomplished all my goals in acting ability, and what type of movies I want to do in the future, and all those things. I mean, there's a lot of different areas where I still can grow into. So whenever I've reached that, which I think will take me the next 5-10 years, then I will do something else maybe. Okay? Yes?
I was thinking, like when I was doing sports, like sometimes I get a little motivated, and then I just quit, and then when like running, for instance, like I was running, I pushed myself, I was really tired and everything, and then, and the next day I just sort of sit back, like, it's running, and you just get back in the evening and, sprawl out on the floor, but, is it bad for you to push yourself like that when you're first starting out?
Well, you have to do everything in moderation, of course. You have to start out with everything easy and then move in and do it harder and harder and harder. One of the things that a lot of people, and probably I'm not the only one that this has happened to, and I'm sure it happens to you too, is that you have a lot of enthusiasm for 1 week, and then you run and run and run and train hard, and you get sore and all those things, and all of a sudden the next week you have no interest in it at all. And then all of a sudden what you need then is having a great training partner. And this is why when I wrote my books on weight training, and so I always wrote a big chapter on training partner training, because you need somebody that always motivates you. You need somebody always behind you that straightens you out and that motivates you, or that says, no, you can't eat that, or you can't take that. When I went, for instance, to Mexico to do the last Conan movie, I love ice cream, okay? I love cake. I love junk food. I mean, I love it, but you can't eat it always, because you can't be muscular and eat junk food at the same time. So what I had these two big guys that were in a movie. Will Chamberlain was one of them, and the other one was a guy from Europe by the name of Sven Ole Thorsen. He weighs 280 pounds, Will weighed almost 300 pounds. And we made a deal. We said, listen, we have to watch each other, so no one can eat any dessert now for the next 4 months. No soup, no bread, no butter, no ice cream, no dessert, nothing. And we did that, and it worked. But I so many times was tempted to quickly sneak around the corner and get some ice cream at the cafeteria where we ate. And all of a sudden, Will's hands would come down and says, no, and then it would lift me away. And so you need always somebody behind you watching over you, because every one of us has a weak spot, you know, where you just all of a sudden say, maybe quickly I should do that. And you know it's bad, but you can't help yourself. So then you need somebody to come over you and say no, or slap you on the hand, or whatever the system that you may use. And I've gone through that in weight training. I mean, many times I walk into the gym, I didn't want to train, and Franco Colombo, who was my training partner, he would inspire me, and he would tell me, boy, at the competition there would be big, huge guys, muscular guys, you know, and you were going to lose and all this and that, and I would be then scared of losing, and I would go back and do my chin-ups and measure.
The way you used to do 3 sets.
Absolutely.
Give it more than 6 times, you know, to
put more weight on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just to train your because you're a professional.
No, absolutely. That's what you should do. Just find somebody else. Everyone in here should do it. And I think the greatest news I've heard was that Vicky told me that you guys are raising money now for this place to build a facility here where you're going to have weights, machines, novice machines, universal machines, and free weights. And so if you have that, I would like to come back and then show you guys some exercises that you can do with the weights, because there's a really great shortcut that can be used with machines and with free weights and so on. Yes?
Yeah, I'm under the impression, I'd like to know for sure, when you build your muscle, you build it large, right, it seems like you're building more than should normally be built. When you get older, right, or maybe you're not working out as much, you must investigate this well. What happens to the muscle? I mean, does it degenerate, or does it go back to where it was, or does it turn into flat?
Well, first of all, I'm now 20 pounds lighter than I was in competition shape. Okay, so you can see what happened now to me. Okay, all it happens is that you go down a certain percentage. Your muscle, if you don't train anymore 4 hours, then your muscular size goes down a little bit. But it doesn't mean it goes to flap or that you get out of shape. As a matter of fact, I feel better now today than I did when I weighed 20 pounds more, because weighing 240 and 250 is not really the most comfortable weight to be in, because you can't run as fast and so on. Now I can do all the various different sports and have much more energy than I ever had before. I think that when I am 50 or 60, I maybe will be 20 pounds less than I'm today, intentionally. Because from a health point of view, you should not weigh too much when you get over 40, because the heart has to work too hard and so on. So I will slowly go down with the body weight, because I'm not interested anymore to win Mr. Universe or Mr. Olympia, as long as I can do my films and be in good shape and so on. So this is really what happens, you slowly come down. Like Jacques Lalanne. Jacques Lalanne used to be very large and won all the competitions in California, and now he's 70-some years old. And he's very lean and very muscular, but still does 200 chin-ups every day, and 200 push-ups, and dips and sit-ups, endless amount, 500 or so. He still has all his energy.
Will they shrink back?
No, they just reduce in size, because remember the size of the muscle is directly related to the amount of resistance you give it. So if you give it, for instance, if I do with 200 pounds curls, they will go up to a certain size. If you cut down to 150 pounds curls, they will come down a half an inch, because now the muscle is not needed anymore to that extent. I have to run off, but I just want to tell you in the end that I think that Vicky is doing a wonderful job in keeping you all in shape. I've watched the program. I think it's better than most of the programs I've seen. So, and you guys are really in good shape. I'm very proud of you, okay? So keep going with the whole thing, and I will be back when the weight training facilities are here, helping you.